Oh, I'm so excited. We just left this professional development, and there are a lot of questions that people want answered about bilingual ELL students in special education. Welcome. My name is Scott Lucadello, and I'm middle school Spanish language arts teacher at Robert Abbott Middle School in Waukegan, Illinois. And hopefully I can answer some questions. The first question, very pressing in the professional development class that I just attended, was the misidentification and underrepresentation of ELL and bilingual students. The issue with underidentification that I gleaned and overidentification of ELLs and bilingual students in special education programs are that significantly a lot of times students who need the services will not receive them because they might think it is a language barrier instead of a disability, so they're overrepresented. Could it just be language and they understand the content, or is it really a disability that requires these services? And these situations can make students feel frustrated or being stressed. They do not need the support and are not getting, and they're missing out on class rather than, they're receiving these services rather than being in class. And this makes them feel frustrated. And in my school in particular, Robert Abbott, we are under-identified. Some students are just labeled as ALL instead of identifying their needs for social skills and learning abilities. I totally understand what you mean, what my colleagues mean about under-identifying students, and our students are just labeled ELL as well. And it can be like pulling teeth trying to get special education services for ELL students that really need it. And if anything's going to be done in our district, and there was some frustration here, in order for change to occur, it must be early. It must be at the elementary level. And these students may suffer because they're not receiving services, because they are receiving services when they don't need it. And in fact, the interventions and services they need are geared towards only and only learning English. These are the students that become frustrated themselves and tend to act out more in class. And now another poignant question or salient question that was posed was procedures and practices to prevent disproportionate identification of students, which could hamper their educational achievement. And this is a very controversial topic. As a teacher, it's very hard to decide sometimes as teachers if a student is not making enough progress because of a learning disability, or is it just because of the language barrier? So teachers need to be reflective practitioners. Are students receiving enough instruction of quality to enable them to make the accepted level of progress that they need to achieve in reading, listening, reading, and writing? And the teachers must be great observers if the students show behaviors that indicate a learning disability, and if those behaviors are normal for the child's cultural background. Another aspect to consider are the attitudes of students toward learning English, their previous educational experience, fluency in their L1 language, and attitude towards school. And I know every year is full of challenges for teachers, I know this. And the misidentification of students is a very ongoing problem for certain schools, especially in ours. And after COVID-19, a lot of those times spent at home, I can only imagine the process of evaluating students that might require IP and what was lagging behind with COVID-19. Now, the collaboration part of all of this and decision-making revolves around a team of people based on data to determine what Tier 2 interventions are needed. Tier 1 are omnipresent. That's for all of our students. This is how we teach students in a classroom, a whole group instruction. What we mean by that is Tier 2, the next level of assistance for students that may need it. Documentation of all interventions. The reevaluation of students that may occur 2 to 4 weeks. In our school, it happens every 4 to 6 weeks. And do this in a timely manner. Determine if there's a Tier 3 meeting is necessary. Always communication with the parent in their native language, sending documentation home, emailing correspondence, face-to-face, whatever they would like, whatever they feel most comfortable and feel a sense of belonging to the school is probably the best route to go. Monitoring data, identifying and problem solving, reviewing referrals from the grade level teams, making decisions based on the data, and give the appropriate tier 2 and tier 3 interventions. Scheduling meetings with other teachers. I know everybody's busy. We know that. We're teachers. We hold a lot of hats and we're multifaceted. But we need to establish a meeting time that works for everyone. Also, there's an evaluation problem. Timelines. Evaluating the data. How will we do this? Special eligibility determinations. Schedule a meeting with the parents. Again, sending documentation home. And then again, bringing it all home for a comprehensive evaluation project and how special education eligibility determination. Now, culture, data-driven, analyzing data with cultural and linguistic considerations within your, taking and considering cultural and linguistic considerations. I mean, culture is such an important part of everyone's life. When a student comes from their native country to a new country, I know it can be overwhelming. They want to feel that sense of belonging, that sense of generosity, that sense of mastery and independence. We need that. We as teachers and as a school community need to make them feel at home and make them feel that they want to become part of that school community. Not only do they need to get used to a new way of living, but they also have to learn a new language, which is very difficult. I had a student this year that came from Honduras, and he struggled with the new language and culture. He began to, if he didn't know what was going on in class, what did he do? Well, he had a lot of time on his hands, so he misbehaved and quickly learned that he was receiving a lot of attention from other students by misbehaving. So he became sort of that class clown. But he was not being positive, nor was he accelerating in his studies. We needed to provide direction and interventions for him to find his way again. It is heartbreaking what these students go through in order to find acceptance and comfort. We need to do a better job in order to do things that make them feel at home. Do we need to have rich discussions, more small group, more peer interactions, making them feel at home, using their native language? Because they are learning English along with their using their native language at home. This is very, very overwhelming for them. And encountering a new language while having to modify your own culture, having to adapt to a whole new set of culture in the United States, called acculturation, it can include a lot of things can happen, a lot of differences in languages, learning styles, and values. And the best way to address these challenges within the school setting would be to create a support system and build on those special relationships with them and create an environment that values everyone's culture that is appropriate and can be implemented. Also, how else can we support? They may feel left out in the general education classroom when being pulled out for language classes or to work with special education teacher. This could be a student feel different or like they do not fit in with general education. We can address this by building a foundation, fostering relationships, being inclusive, and make that feel like a family so they don't feel so set aside or apart. Create positive relationships with teachers and students. I think this can be done through morning meetings, activities where students greet one another, talk, and ask each other personal questions. How was your day? Oh, I can relate to that. I felt the same way when I came over. And this could take about 3 to 5 minutes every morning. Showing an interest in a student in their life can build a bond forever between them and the teacher and make them feel cared for and a sense of belonging and generosity to the school community. It can really help. And it can really make that learning environment comfortable and embracing. Students that have IEPs or may encounter other challenges on top of the challenges they already face. They may feel excluded, stressed, associated with not being able to do what others can do, and uncomfortable with their abilities. For these reasons, it's important that we allow students to form relationships and that we also create relationships with students. How do we communicate with parents? It is important to introduce yourself and that you're there for their child. And do this in their native language so you make them feel at ease and comfortable with this whole new situation that they are encountering. It's important to get feedback from the parents on the best way to communicate with. Do they like Zoom meetings? Do they like email? Do they like face-to-face? Do they like the telephone? This is always important to make them feel that they are part of the process. We do chat and choose here at Robert Abbott, and it's a great foundation to communicate with the parents. We talk in the native language. We have food from different parts of the world. We sit and we discuss that we're in here together. There are people in the same situation that you are. You're not alone in all of this, and this may put them at ease. We also have translators, interpreters. If you can't speak the language yourself, we have people that can do that. People that can make you feel at home, make you feel a part of the community. Also, we share the results that we do with your child, both orally and written. And they can work alongside us to develop an IEP, to make them feel included in the whole process, and we can make amendments along the way. We are here to support the family and the outside community as well. We have BAM, Becoming a Man. We have WOW, Working on Womanhood. These are all things that we bring in to the school, which is from the outside community, saying that we're here and we're here for you, and we can help you along the way. We're here to support the families and our students, and we can promote pro-social behavior and make huge impacts on family. I know that was, maybe 8 to 10 minutes of just a short little synopsis of the professional development we just had on ELLs, students, and special education. But tune in again. We'll have more information, and we'll try to get down to it. Thank you for joining me, and you have a great day. Thank you. Bye.